Hey, this is Jeff, and back in February I did a video about what factors affect your run speed in Fallout 3. Some of the comments were interested in a similar analysis for Fallout New Vegas, and as I recently started a New Vegas challenge series in which run speed is becoming increasingly important, I decided to do that. I recreated the same test course setup. If you want to see the full rundown of my methodology, I'll put a link to the Fallout 3 video in the description, but here's the 30-second version. It's a 50-yard course with an invisible trigger zone between these two rails east to west and between the cameras north to south. The cameras are purely cosmetic just to give you a visual cue where the timed portion of the course begins and ends. The trigger zone has a script which starts a timer when I enter it and pops up a message box with the elapsed time when I exit. I did it that way to eliminate the measurement error that I'd have if I was trying to play the game with one hand and click a stopwatch with the other. I also have a batch file that I can run from the console to make sure my starting position and angle are exactly the same for every run. Then I just hit the auto run key, keep my hands off the keyboard and mouse, and record the result in the spreadsheet when I get to the end. I do 5 runs, and the spreadsheet calculates the average. I repeat that process for every combination of potential factors that might affect my speed. Different armor, different weapons, inventory weight, and so on. So the results were interesting. There were a couple things I expected to be the same between Fallout 3 and New Vegas because they use the same game engine. And there were 2 things I thought might be different because the way they work in Fallout 3 contradicts how many sources say they should work, and I've been told it's because the features were unfinished when the game was released. First, your agility attribute makes no difference to your run speed in Fallout 3, despite some sources claiming that it does. Second, your inventory weight makes no difference either, as long as you aren't over-encumbered. You run at the same speed whether you're carrying 0 weight or you're exactly at your maximum carry capacity. Since those features may have been planned but unfinished in Fallout 3, I thought there was a chance they would make a difference in New Vegas, but they don't. Agility 1, Agility 10, 0 weight, max weight, your speed is exactly the same in all combinations, just like it was in Fallout 3. And the surprises kept coming. The things I expected to be the same aren't. In Fallout 3, there was a linear relationship between the weight of the armor you had equipped and your run speed. In New Vegas, armor weight doesn't matter. All that matters is your armor weight class, light, medium, or heavy. So you run the same speed naked as you do with the heaviest light armor in the game equipped, the 26-pound NCR Trooper fatigues. You run slower in medium armor, but it doesn't matter if you have 20-pound recon armor or 35-pound Gannon family Tesla armor equipped. And you run slowest of all in heavy armor, but you're the same speed in 30-pound metal armor as you are in 45-pound remnant power armor. And you probably noticed some unexpected data points in the graph. I added several custom outfits in the GEC to test the full range of values. Armor that's flagged with the light weight class, but with actual weights over 30. Armor flagged with the heavy weight class, but with actual weights under 30. You get the idea. And here's where it gets really weird. In Fallout 3, running with a weapon holstered affected your run speed according to its weight, with the same linear relationship and purely additive with armor weight. That is, the combined weight of your equipped armor and weapon determined your run speed, assuming the weapon was holstered. If it was drawn, it slowed you down significantly, as you are frequently and prominently warned on loading screens and elsewhere. In New Vegas, a holstered weapon doesn't slow you down at all. A 1-pound knife or a 30-pound nuke launcher, holster it, and you run whatever speed your armor's weight class dictates. If you do run with your weapon drawn, it affects your run speed according to the weapon type, but only in 2 broad groups. Any 2-hand ranged weapon, be it a rifle, a handle weapon like a minigun or flamer, or a shoulder-mounted weapon, 8-pound Tesla cannon or 30-pound nuke launcher, it's all the same, and it's severe. It adds more than 2 seconds to the 50-yard time. The other group is everything else. One-handed pistols, one-handed or two-handed melee weapons, and so-called unarmed weapons like brass knuckles or a power fist. They all add a little less than 1 second to the 50-yard time if they're drawn. Doesn't matter if it's a 1-pound 9mm pistol or a 20-pound super sledge. Finally, like Fallout 3, armor and weapons don't make any difference if they're just in your inventory but not equipped. So counterintuitively, if you're wearing power armor and you need a burst of speed, just unequip it. because according to both games, you can run much faster if you're naked and carrying 45 pounds of armor than you can if you're wearing that same armor. One last thing I should mention, these measurements are sensitive to frame rate for two reasons. First, the higher the frame rate, the more precise the timer is. At 30 frames per second, the measurement error is about 3/100ths of a second. Also, I'm told that frame rate issues can affect the player's actual run speed, which supposedly speedrunners and others have exploited that glitch to get from point A to point B faster than should be possible. It wasn't an issue in the Fallout 3 video because I get a very high, very stable frame rate in that game. But on the same PC, same exact recording configuration, New Vegas never gets much above 30 FPS. Since Fraps caps the frame rate at 30 when recording anyway, that's not normally a big problem. However, it seems to slowly degrade if I play for a long time, and I actually noticed this a couple times when I was doing the time trials. I'd get a suspect measurement, see the frame rate was dipping, do a naked unarmed run to double check, and sure enough, it could be as much as a couple tenths of a second faster than the baseline I took at 30 FPS. So I'd quit the game, reload, get the frame rate back to where it should be, and keep going. And then the measurements were as I expected them to be. The sacrifices I make for my art. Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.